The letter arrived folded neatly in a bright orange envelope with the HOA logo stamped on it like a badge of authority. It read, "Your property is not in compliance with Ridgewood Preserve zoning adjustments. Demolition proceedings will begin in 10 business days if no corrective action is taken." I blinked, rereading the letter twice, then laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was absurd. See, I wasn't just some homeowner ignoring rules. I was Dr. Marcus Vellon, Deputy Director at the Federal Infrastructure Review Board, FIRB, the same board that approves and signs federal construction permits, including the funding and zoning variances for this entire HOA. What they didn't know was that I signed their permits. Literally. How it started. My wife and I bought our home 2 years ago. Quiet cul-de-sac, strong schools, and enough privacy for us to finally slow down. The home itself was custom designed under a federal pilot program I helped initiate, one aimed at energy efficiency and secure infrastructure. It had reinforced materials, a solar-based power loop, and, ironically, a storm shelter that doubled as secure data storage for federal documents. But because our home didn't look like the others, Karen and the HOA board had a problem. It didn't match the colonial rustic charm of Ridgewood Preserve. So they sent warnings, then final notices. Then one morning I came home from a flight to find contractors marking lines across my front yard. The escalation. I approached them. "Excuse me, what are you doing?" One shrugged. "Just prepping for partial structure removal. HOA said you didn't respond to final demolition order." I pulled out my phone and opened the secure FIRB database. My house, fully compliant, federally certified, and listed under Infrastructure Exemption Clause 72-8A. Still, I didn't lose my temper. I called Karen directly. Her voice was sharp. "We gave you every chance to comply, Mr. Vellon. The board has the authority to remove non-conforming properties." "No," I said, "you don't. You're operating under a zoning district created by a federal permit variance, the one I personally reviewed and signed. You're not just overreaching, you're attempting to erase a house that legally defines your own district's existence." Dead silence on the line. The fallout. I sent an official cease and desist order from FIRB to the HOA within the hour. The document was notarized, logged into the national permitting system, and legally binding. 2 days later, I walked into the Ridgewood HOA meeting, unannounced in a gray suit, FIRB credentials in hand. I wasn't there as a neighbor. I was there as their federal overseer. "I'm not here to argue," I began. "I'm here because this HOA has breached its own federal terms and attempted to destroy property under federal jurisdiction. If your contractor had laid a single brick or cut a single beam, your HOA would be facing federal civil damages and potential charges." Karen, pale and visibly shaking, tried to interject. "You never told us who you were." "You never asked," I said calmly, "and frankly, it wouldn't have mattered. You had the signed permits in your files all along." Aftermath. The demolition was halted. The contractors were dismissed with apologies. The HOA board was ordered to undergo mandatory recertification under FIRB's oversight. Karen resigned within a week. The neighborhood buzzed with whispers. Some were sympathetic. Others looked at me like I was a sleeping lion they'd accidentally poked with a stick. And my house, still standing, still legal, still quietly collecting solar energy while storing digital blueprints for the same infrastructure that powers this state. A final note. The next time someone assumes they have authority, remember, not all power is loud or flashy. Sometimes it's written in ink, filed in federal archives, and backed by the full weight of the U.S. government. Karen thought she could erase my house with a form and a clipboard. What she didn't know was I wrote the form and I authorized the clipboard.